you hate to have COVID, but you love to have an extra day of football. We'll start the conversation shortly, but now let's listen to this great song to get us in the mood to talk about sports.
High Takes Nation, I'm back. Tim, I couldn't go to last week's podcast, but I'm back and better than ever.
Love to hear it.
Song playing.
All right, let's get into it. Tim, any initial reactions? Anything? What game do you want to jump into first? Of course, we had the NBA Finals wrapping up, and then of course Week 5 of the NFL. Injuries continue to destroy the league, and some COVID complications. Anything you want to hop into right now?
Nothing here, but in the sports world, maybe not American sports world, but sports world. Cristiano Ronaldo was just diagnosed with COVID today, so prayers up to him, to the GOAT.
Of course, another GOAT conversation this week. I think we can all, still controversial, but I'm going to say it. LeBron took his third team to the championship and won it in the finals. He's the GOAT, of course. I think we can't dismiss the efforts of Jimmy Butler in this final series. He rested 48 seconds through 5 games. But I think, of course, the Finals MVP has to go to a winner. Do you think that LeBron James earned that Finals MVP, or do you think Anthony Davis, should have taken that MVP home with him?
I haven't looked exactly at the numbers, but when I watched the games and I watched the replays and the highlights, I feel like AD was a more crucial part of that team than LeBron. Obviously, LeBron is doing it all, but when I saw those highlights, all the highlights, it's just AD blocking people and AD making all these shots. AD making buzzer beaters. Not saying LeBron hasn't done that, but for this playoff run, I think AD was more crucial, and I think he deserved that Finals MVP over LeBron. I think it was just the icing on top of the cake for LeBron to win his third championship, or his fourth championship with a third different team. And I feel like the league more so had to do it and give it to him.
Yeah, of course, the bubble was complicated for everyone. Happy to see LeBron take home another championship, but I think AD really should get that Finals MVP. Talking about the whole entire playoffs, of course, LeBron was a more dominant player, but in this last series against the Heat, AD really just dominated them. You need defensive players if you're going to be winning by those leads, and holding the Heat to so few points in game 1, and then of course the last game 6 was really something crazy to see.
I don't even want to say that game 6 was a terrific defensive effort. There are just so many shots that the Heat just had unlucky bounces on. If you were watching it, they'd be going in for a layup and then the ball would just take a weird bounce and then just go out. The amount of times that happened, Tyler Hero couldn't even drain a floater for his life for some reason.
I mean, I'll give
Everyone was.
that one to him. He's put up enough numbers in the
Yeah,
playoffs for a rookie first year out of Kentucky. Um, what I thought Danny Green was going to call the series.
really.
I that was my
That's shot Danny?
third crazy saying of the weekend. I was watching Game Five down the hall in my friend's room, and the Lakers were inbounding the ball or whatever to get that last shot up. I said, "Watch this! Danny Green's going to call the game before the ball was even in his hands. Before they inbounded it, it went in his hand and he bricked it." I was like, "Start building! Come on, man!" That was my crazy thing of the week. Um, Before we hop into what I really want to talk about, which is of course NFL. Um, any college football this weekend that you watch? Anything you want to get touch on?
Uh, Nothing from my standpoint, but Big Ten's coming back real soon. The Penn State has its first game on the 24th, and they have their first big game on Halloween, which should be a good day for all college students. Because I'm gonna call it a long weekend because we get that extra hour of sleep. It's on Halloween day. Um, I mean, that weekend couldn't be more perfect for football and college students.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy. Only one weekend left without a new conference joining the bowl series. Happy to see that it's a real conference too. With that said, I think that really all the top 10 teams right now are very interesting. Unfortunately, my Canes lost this weekend to Clemson, which was expected. But I said this, I think, 3 weeks ago, when before anyone else said it. I just want to make it clear that I called this before anyone else. Penn State and Miami will be in the Orange Bowl. I predicted this 3 weeks ago, and just last week I saw an ESPN analyst say this. I forget who it was, but I just want to make it clear that I said it first, and if it happens, I'm going to be real proud of myself. All right. So
Who
that's
does
it for
Miami have to play?
what?
Who does Miami have left to play? Because if they lose another game,
Their only potential loss, I'm going to say, is Notre Dame, and I think they'll put up a pretty good fight, and I think they can come out on top. I think Notre Dame's a real defensive threat, but I don't
yeah,
think their offense is too full of firepower right now. I mean, Notre Dame, they're ranked 5 right now. I think they're going to drop off. I mean,
Notre Dame's 4.
they moved.
Yeah, they
Oh, I
moved
saw
up
them
a
at
spot.
5.
Yeah,
That's
because
interesting.
Clemson, Alabama, UGA, Notre Dame, and UNC. UNC should not be ranked 5th.
No, I don't.
For
They're
their
nice.
life of
Sam Howell is nice. Have you watched them yet?
Have I watched them against? Wow. Syracuse? Wow. Virginia Tech? Wow. Boston College? Wow. I'm not surprised by these wins. And the marginal win, they won by 4 points against Boston College. I'm not saying Boston College is shit, but if you're 5th in the country and you can only beat Boston College by 4 points, there's a problem there.
I'll give you that one. I think the best player to come out of Boston College, of course, is Matty Ice, who is going to be out of a job, I think, soon.
Yeah. You know how he got that nickname?
No, but I believe he likes drinking natural lights. So
Yeah.
they gave him the name Matty Ice. Is that confirmed?
Yeah, he said that in an interview. That he said that in high school. That's what he did. Drank a lot of natties, and
Yeah, because
it wasn't because he was good at football. It was just because he loved the natties.
Yeah, of course, because he didn't grow up far from us. He went to William
Yeah,
Charter or Penn Charter. Penn Charter. Grew up in Coatesville, Downingtown, or whatever, and he played on the same Pee Wee football team as my cousin, actually.
That gets me every time, bro.
Dude, it's true. He played on. I have a picture of it.
I know. Every time that picture is shown to me, I'm like, this is just so crazy.
Dude, I have a hard time believing it too, because the story I get from my cousin and my uncle too said that Matt Ryan, he was always the kid that would like be complaining in practice, like, "Oh, my tummy hurts, like I can't play today." And whenever he'd get touched,
Oh, I can totally see that.
he'd always complain. So like, not much has changed. Nothing's changed.
My one of my buddies here, his grandfather ran soccer camps with Pele.
Yeah, there's more. There's got to be more to that.
Pictures with Pele. It's just like him and Pele with a bunch of little kids. It's like
That's
super funny.
crazy. I met someone last week down here. I was watching Eagles football, and I was sitting in my friend's room. Some girl came down, and she was like, "Oh, my cousin's husband is actually on the Eagles, but you probably wouldn't know him." And she pulled him up on Instagram, and of course it was Eagles long snapper Rick Lovato, and I knew exactly who that was.
Lovato.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I know exactly who that is. He's the worst rated player on Madden." Now, to be fair, he's the worst rated player on Madden because he's listed as a tight end, even though he's a long snapper. So they gave him like a 37.
Listed as a tight end?
What?
That's crazy. He's actually listed as a tight end?
Yeah, but I don't think he's ever played a snap at tight end in the league.
Yeah, I know. That's funny.
Yeah. All
Is Lovato the one that does magic? Or is
no, that's John Dornbos. He's retired.
That's what I'm thinking of, yeah.
He's retired. He always shows up to the games as like the player, like the Eagles like retiree of the day when they have home games. Another exciting news: Eagles are welcoming fans in this Sunday against the Ravens.
Yeah,
7,500, which is about 10% or something, a little over 10%, 15%, I think. I don't think my dad will be going. He's got season tickets. I don't think he'll be going.
Did he still keep them, or did he kind of give them up for the season?
He gave them up for just the season, but rep he talks to said that if he wants to go, they could probably hook him up with him again. So, but knowing my dad and his suspicions with COVID, I don't think he'll be showing up.
Yeah. I mean, definitely no line for those cheesesteaks right now, though.
Yeah, of course. Dude, those Philly cheesesteaks in the link hit different. Unmatched. Gino's Pats, no, we're talking in the link. Unmatched. I want to get into the first NFL game of the week. What do you take away? What were your takeaways from Buccaneers Bears? Mine, one thing continued. I took the Bears. I think, what was it? Plus 3. Of course, best bet I ever made because, Nick Foles owns Tom Brady. That's the only way I can put it. I mean, I don't think if the Bears keep up their pace, I think they're on pace for a playoff team.
That's so weird to think about because 4 weeks ago when we were talking about them, we thought they were going to be terrible, but now they're good.
We did, but their record shows differently, and of course, all their wins, they're not against the best teams, but I mean, they took down an NFC powerhouse in the Buccaneers. I thought the Buccaneers would have pulled away this week, but of course, they lost, and then the Saints also lost, so they're in the same spot as.
Well, Tom Brady's starting to have dementia. That's why. I didn't even know it was fourth down.
Now, do you make anything of that, that messed up fourth down? I mean, I think
he knew.
He knew it was fourth down because he said
I don't care. I don't care what that guy says. He's been playing in the league for 20 plus years, and he's been doing that type of thing where he drives down the field with less than a minute for 20 plus years. You can't just be oh, I didn't know. You have to be aware of that stuff. If you're not aware of that stuff, then any other player on the team has to be aware of that. Someone has to be aware of it.
I don't know. I think he really did mess up. I think he really thought he had an extra down to go. I mean, he looked really confused he wasn't even looking at the camera when he was answering his press conference questions.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. Bruce Arians and him, I don't know what their relationship is like now because he seems to think that Tom Brady knew.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if those two are going to have a fallout and something's going to happen in Tampa Bay that's going to conflict for the rest of the season or whether something's going to happen at the end of the season. but I think that's going to be interesting going on.
No, Brady definitely plays out his 2-year contract
Oh, for
starting
sure.
every game.
I'm saying I wonder how if they do something about Bruce Arians, or like they just like, because like Brady and Belichick didn't even have that good a relationship.
Yeah, but Tom Brady bought into Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians didn't buy into Tom Brady, and I think that's what we're seeing. Tom Brady knew what he was getting himself into, and Bruce Arians brought him in. I think Tom knew that he was going to have to listen to Arians regardless. I mean, Arians admits that like when Tom messes up, he yells at him like everyone else. So I think that's crazy. My least favorite thing about this game, I was going to be respectful about it, but why can't Brady just shake Nick Foles' hand?
Dude, I don't get that either, bro.
A grown man.
And he can't respect losing.
Yeah. It's
like
reasons
a father.
That I hate Brady.
A father is supposed to teach his son how to shake hands, and the fact that Foles is not demanding for his son to shake his hand.
Dude, Foles should have pulled up to the locker room after the game.
Well, I mean, yeah. That also, I don't know why Foles got rid of his
the visor.
His visor, bro.
Dude, that was tough.
He impression that when he came back.
Was so weird though that he had the first game at all. Like, that's not him. Huh? It's not. It's fresh. It's fresh, but it's not him. It's not his.
Oh, style. I know.
Never once have I seen anything like that from a man so simple as him.
Yeah, well, Foles' style is to get a crap ton of yards and throw deep balls and get sacked once, and then his shoulder be messed up for like 2 weeks. That's it.
Yeah, of course. Broke his collarbone back in 2014, and it was benched for Sam Bradford, and then of course benched for Gardner Minshew last year after breaking his clavicle again. So,
of course,
dude, he just loves that backup role and coming in for people. Let's move into it. Next game, Jags Texans. I took the Jags on an upset in this game. Wasn't my best move. I thought Texans, fresh coach, been shaky. They came out, got their first win. Pretty nice win too, won by 16. How do we see them ending the season? I mean, I think this division has just returned to its definition of mediocrity. You look at the Titans are falling apart because they're playing tonight. They had their games postponed. They're having players fined or whatever for having their private meeting. So I define this division as always as the definition of mediocrity. How do you take that?
I mean, I'm looking at it. Tennessee's nice, but they haven't played their fourth game yet.
Yeah, they got a tough matchup tonight against the Bills.
Yeah.
And the Bills have been looking sharp.
Which I think they'll lose. I think they'll lose to them, the Bills. I think Josh Allen is a really good QB.
I like Josh Allen a lot too.
But I don't know. Who does Houston have on the rest of their schedule?
Let me check that out real quick. But they still have their division games, which is Tennessee. They got the Jags.
Tennessee, Packers, Jags, Browns, Patriots, Lions, Colts, Bears, Bengals, Titans. I see them at like a 6-win team, like 6-10. I think just because of instability in the front office and in the coaching area.
So who do you see? Who do you see their wins? The Jags again? What do you say? The Lions are a win. Colts? Do you think that's a toss-up?
Like if I'm looking at this, I think they can beat the Texans once. Or no, the Texans can beat the Titans once. I think. I think one of the times that will happen. I mean, I see them being the Colts once too. The Bengals could go either way, just depending on how good Joe Burrow feels that day. But that's going to be towards the end of the season, so I don't know if Joe Burrow is going to be tapped from all the hits he's going to be keeps me taken.
Yeah, he finally got his spin move to work once.
Yeah, and he's learning how to slide.
Yeah, you saw that mic'd up thing with him?
Yeah, bro, it's so funny.
Dude, I don't know what was. Dude, he just like falls down. He like can't. I thought that was something like everyone just knew.
Yeah, they're like a 5-11 team, 6-10 team. But I think the reason they won like kind of so handily like last week or this week, partly due to the fact that they had to kind of go out there and prove something, because they went 0-4, which is the worst start they've had for like the past while.
Yeah.
They had a new coach, and I think I don't know. It seemed like all the players were very mad about the coaching, and then once the coach left, I bet they felt better and stuff. So I think that contributed to it. But
yeah, I mean, moving forward, pushing this conversation forward. I mean, we had one more coach fired this week, of course, Dan Quinn with the Falcons. Why do we see Adam Gase still with the Jets this late in the season? I mean, I thought he should have never been a coach to begin with when Mike McCarthy said he wanted to go to the Jets the other year. How much longer do you think the Jets are lasting? I thought they were going to fire him when he lost to the Broncos Thursday night the other week. I mean, how much do you think they want to keep Gase for Darnold? Or I think Darnold can survive easily without Gase. I think Gase is holding him back a lot. He's really not this crazy offensive mind, really, or not a great defensive guy either. And
that's a question.
Will the Jets move off Darnold if they move off Gase?
I don't think so. I think Darnold he's the Andy Dalton of New York. I think Andy Dalton is a good QB, but they both have red hairish. They both were on terrible teams. Like, if you put Andy Dalton on like a good team, like the Cowboys, I don't know what he's gonna do. I'm not saying they're a good team. Fuck the Cowboys, but I think Andy Dalton's gonna be able to do way more with the Cowboys than he could do with the Bengals, and I think that could just as well like apply to Darnold too. Like, Darnold has a good like QB build. He just has like nothing to really support him. And I think they're kind of using, I don't know. I feel like the reason they haven't fired Gase is because they're blaming like other factors. But obviously it is Gase.
Yeah,
and I think Darnold is suffering from Gase's coaching decisions and the front office just being like not as good for the team.
Yeah, today it came out that the Jets are shopping Le'Veon Bell. I think really anywhere is an interesting landing spot for him. He really hasn't produced since he's gotten there. I think he should have never held out. I think he should have stayed with the Steelers on that franchise tag. He was still getting like $14.5 million, I think, when they offered like in the franchise tag when he sat out. And it really just doesn't look like it's worked out for him, and I think it's really hindered his ability. Of course, he got a contract that he was comfortable with, but total possible payout wasn't as great as what the Steelers were offering him either.
Well, do you think they're going to want to take on that contract?
I don't. That's why I think it's interesting. I still think he's a good player. I think the offensive line there isn't great, but I don't know who wants his contract.
Like, I feel like what's going to have to happen in the end is if New York really doesn't want them, they're going to have to cut him and just give up that guaranteed money they gave him.
Yeah, and then anyone will just come scoop him up. I think he'll be scooped up real quick.
Yeah.
So
I don't even think he'll want a huge contract after that because he already just got his payday. So he's probably going to end up going to a team that's like mid upper tier or just upper tier teams. Like, I could see Le'Veon going to like. I could see Le'Veon going to like the Chargers. I'm not gonna lie. I know they're not upper tier or mid upper tier, but I think the Chargers show glimpses of hope, and they really don't have a running back. So if the Chargers could get a running back, I think that'd be good for them.
Yeah, last night with the Chargers, we really saw them their running game really holding back. But Justin Herbert is for real. He's now he has now gone into overtime. Wait, last night was overtime, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's
now gone into overtime with the two powerhouses of each conference, with the Chiefs in his own division, and now the Saints, who were supposed to be an NFC powerhouse this year. And I think he's a real deal. I liked him. I said it last week. These Pac-12 guys, they kind of creep up on us because we're not really watching Pac-12 football. It's kind of not what we want, but everyone's saying, yeah, this guy really showed out at the Rose Bowl last year. Super interesting to see. No, I think that's it. I like Coach Anthony Lynn. We're forgetting that 2 years ago when Patriots won Super Bowl 53. Of course, we know that that whole playoff run was interesting. Towards the end of the season, the Chargers finished that season with Philip Rivers 11-5, and they almost crept up on those 12-4 Chiefs to take the number 1 seed in the AFC. Now they stepped up at quarterback. They got a more athletic guy who makes just better accurate passes with less mistakes. How do you see the AFC West shaking out? I said I like the Broncos, but Drew Lock has been out, and I said I like the Broncos and the Chiefs in the beginning of the season. Now I'm really liking the Chargers. And we saw the Raiders just upset the Chiefs on Sunday too. I don't think that means much. I think that was a fluky division game. I don't think the Raiders are much either. But I like the Chargers and I like the Chiefs a lot right now.
Yeah. I want to look. Yeah. The Chiefs the Chargers lost to the Chiefs by 3. Lost to the Panthers by 5. The Bucks by 7. Saints by 3. All these games are all like 1 possession games, and it's not even like they need to learn how to close out games because.
Yeah, I think last season the Chargers I think they had 9 1-possession games.
Like that's their problem. That's been their problem for the past couple of years. Like I think the year before they were 11-5, they had their really bad year that for the first 4 games they would just lose in the last 2 minutes. All that stuff. It just kind of seems like it's a trend for them. But going forward through the year, I think it's going to be Denver in last place, Las Vegas in 3rd, and then I think the Chargers can kind of come back and get in 2nd. But Kansas City has easily won this division already.
Yeah, that really threw me off once more time here in Las Vegas as a football city, but still not used to that.
Yeah, I see LV and I'm like,
who is this? And then you remember. But can we take a second to realize that Nelson Aguilar is good? What the hell?
Bro, what are his stats this year?
Dude, Sunday he had a 59-yard reception or something for a touchdown. He's good for some reason. And I don't understand it. Why can't the Eagles get good hands like him?
Yeah. Aguilar has 10 receptions for 185 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me. Another USC guy like Sam Darnold, but that's not relevant at all. Where was this the past years? They don't get him too many receptions, but when he does, they're good ones. They're productive, and he moves the ball downfield for him. He already has 2 touchdowns, which isn't crazy, but I think last year he had 4 total. And he missed a couple games. He's been healthy and doing well, and he's fast. I don't understand that. We're going to take a quick break right now, get some more high-quality production from music in here, and we'll be back in a minute.
great song. Yo, did you see
All right, and we're now back. Back to some more sports talk, and of course, we've got sports back pretty much every day now. And if you want to support 12-ounce team, there's an easy way to get in on the action. 12-ounce Sports is going to hook you up with a crazy deal when you sign up and make your first deposit on mybookie.ag. When you make that first deposit on mybookie.ag, they'll match your first deposit up to $1,000 when you punch in the promo code 12-ounce sports. That's 12OZ Sports, all caps, no spaces, when signing up on mybookie.ag to get your deposit matched up to $1,000. Remember, always gamble responsibly. So remember that, mybookie.ag, promo code 12-ounce sports. My sports betting career started full-time the other week, and I'm going to say I didn't have the best weekend, but I had a decent weekend. I'm still positive all time, and that's what we love to hear. But that's not the best comeback story of the weekend. Of course, what we all want to hear, heartwarming story. Washington, they still suck. But can we just take a moment to commend Alex Smith on his great comeback? Unbelievable. Notice how Aaron Donald didn't go easy on him at all. That was hilarious, I thought.
I mean, it's part of the game.
I know, of course, and I love that he's taking the risk to come back too. Love to hear it. But, here's the most ironic part of that story. On the same day, Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, not the same injury, but still a very terrible leg injury. If you watch that happen, you might not want to look up the footage after the show.
I mean, I was looking frame by frame.
I know. And, you hate to see that happen to anyone, but if it's going to happen to someone, thank God it's a Dallas Cowboy. All right. So, for real, though, hope Dak gets better. Quick recovery. But I'm going to say it. I think Dak, he's not going to start another game for the Cowboys.
I agree with that.
I mean,
where do you see it going now?
For real? All right. I think the reason he didn't hold out was he was truly threatened by Andy Dalton. I really think that he was afraid that Andy Dalton could and would take his job if Dak held out. I think they'd realize that he's not worth what he was asking for and even what they offered him. I think that's the story to have. I mean, we look at it. Andy Dalton came in and finished the comeback and beat the Giants. I think Dak's done for real. I think a good fit for him, possibly if he can come back next season, is the Colts. But that's what I make of this story. I think Dak, he's delivered for them up to this point. He had this crazy rookie season, winning Rookie of the Year. And truly, he's filled up the stat box, but that's all he's done since. He's won the division one more time since then. He's won one playoff game. I think he's done. Do you see the Cowboys taking a free agent quarterback, sticking with Dak, or drafting a young guy in this year's draft?
I would draft a young guy. I mean, they're already overpaying for half of their players, even though that those players are like low-key elite. I mean, how much QB talent is in this year's draft? You got Lawrence, you got the guy out from North Dakota. Who else you have?
Yeah, my top three guys are Trevor Lawrence. He's my number one, clear number one. Number two, this will shock some people. My number two is not Justin Fields. It's Trey Lance out of North Dakota State. And then my number three is Justin Fields. And those are your top three, no doubt. That's what scouts are saying. That's what I see when I look at him play. I think that Trey Lance in the NFC East, especially on the Cowboys, would be a super interesting matchup. Seeing him and Wentz battle it out twice a year, both North Dakota State products. But that's how I see the Cowboys moving forward. I think Dak has underperformed with the best situation. And this injury, of course, he's on the franchise tag this year. I think he was foolish even before the injury not to take the long-term deal at the beginning of the season. And now, of course, he took the risk, took the gamble, and it didn't work out well for him. And I got to say, you know what? You hate to see it. Again, you hate to see it happen, but that's the reality of the game. Tony Romo, of course, was an idiot. Saw it happen. He's like, you hope it's just a cramp, but you clearly saw Dak's leg just.
You said you hope it's just a cramp.
Yeah, no, dude. In live time, Tony Romo looked at it. He's like, man, it's times like this, you hope it's just a cramp. And you clearly saw Dak's ankle was like detached from the rest of his leg.
Dude, Romo dropped off from sports commentating, low-key.
Yeah.
I mean, like, because in the beginning, everyone was like, wow, he actually knows what he's saying. He's calling out these plays, and now no one really cares about Romo.
Dude, that's why I think Dak did so well his rookie season, because Romo was there reading the defenses for him.
Probably. I mean, it helps to have that veteran quarterback.
Yeah, I think that's what we've seen. But, moving forward, look, Dallas, I think you've, I don't want to say you're lucky that your quarterback got hurt, but I think Andy Dalton performs at the same level as Dak. I think they're the same. He doesn't have the same athleticism, but I think he can dish it out the same way, slightly more accurate. And
I think he probably has better knowledge of the game too.
Yeah, I'd agree with that also. I think the Cowboys are the same team with Andy Dalton. And I think what we're seeing is, Dak. I think Dak would have held out if they never signed Dalton. Where people forget, dude, Dalton's getting paid more than Cam Newton. 10 times more. Dalton's on a 1-year, $7 million contract.
Cam Newton's also on that minimum, isn't he?
I believe so. He's getting like $700,000, and then like with the incentives or whatever, it's like $4 million or something. I don't know the exact numbers, but I remember.
I mean,
Dalton was signed kind of like a month into quarantine. Cam lasted all the way into the summer, and then even then there were still questions if Cam was going to start. So Dalton is a good quarterback. It was just time for the Bengals to go in another direction.
I agree. I think the Bengals are going in a good direction too. I think Joe Burrow is a fantastic quarterback. He's already proven himself.
I mean, right now, second best in the draft. Of what we've seen, of course, Herbert's the runaway first right now. And I think Tua, once he gets the time to step on the field, Tua is going to be better than Burrow.
I don't think Tua is doing anything.
Because
Tua doesn't have a team around him. He has a better team around him than he has in previous years.
Devontae Parker's nice.
I've said it once. I'll say it again. I don't care about Devontae Parker.
I'll take that from you. But, what we're seeing from the Dolphins right now is, they beat the reigning NFC champs.
It's scary potential. It's scary potential. I'll say that.
Scary potential. Dude, I like where the Dolphins are going. They moved off Tannehill, brought in Fitzpatrick. Do they have what?
Do they have a solid running back right now?
They gave up Kenyon Drake a year and a half ago. Right now, I'm not sure who it is, but running back is a position I feel like teams always find a way to fill.
Yeah, that's true.
So, That's my takeaway right now. Oh wait, they have a great running back, Jordan Howard.
No, wait.
How did I forget that? They have Jordan Howard. That's a solid back right there.
Yeah, I'm kind of mad that Jordan Howard didn't play more last year.
Yeah, he got a stinger. They called it a stinger, which lasted 4 months, which doesn't make sense to me. But he was super productive last season. Not only as a rusher, he used that power back, but also as a uh, pass blocker, Wentz, which was helpful. So, and Dolphins tight end, whatever.
Gesicki is nice.
Miami.
Gesicki, too good.
From Miami to Miami Hurricane right there. He's going off. So they got a good roster coming. Oh, and guess who their linebacker is? Kamu Grugier-Hill or whatever.
Mike Gesicki from Miami.
What?
Did you say that Gesicki was from Miami?
Hold up. I'm getting something mixed up.
PSU, bro.
What?
Gesicki is from PSU.
Oh, you're right. I got them mixed up with dude, I don't know why. Oh, it's because there's so many Miami tight ends. But I was thinking Jimmy Graham for some reason, and that's completely off. I don't know why I just got that mixed up.
Well, Jimmy Graham had a
nice snag last Thursday.
He had a grab. Oh my word. Yeah, no. I'll stick with that point though. I think the Miami Dolphins have some scary potential. They just kind of have to put the pieces together and get the right coaching. And then I think they could be a destination for teams. Like, I think Miami's a great sports city. I would want to be down there.
Yeah. I mean, it was exciting watching Heat down here. I knew they weren't going to do anything. And then, of course, Miami on the rise, as we just agreed on. Wow. The NFL is exciting right now. What?
You got any high takes in any area of sports?
Oh, I said it last week. Well, I said it on Sunday. The Eagles are going to upset the Ravens. The Ravens have been having issues in the passing game with Lamar not being able to throw it downfield accurately. And as long as Slay is in the game, and they don't match up, what's the Nathan Gary on a running back or on a receiver, the Eagles will win that game on defense. Eagles' run defense is nice. I think they can contain Lamar enough to win a low-scoring game.
Okay.
You got a high take this far in the show? I remember you hinting at something in the beginning.
Yeah. Not necessarily a take on football. More just maybe not even a sports take, but ACL tears, trendy.
Could you give a little more?
All right, dude. Let me explain this to you, right? You know the amount of girls that get ACL tears?
Oh, they're all like soccers, and they're all like freshman year.
Yeah, right.
And then they walk around with a brace on.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah. So they have to go through that, like ACL tears, like, right? Like, it's like a 9-month recovery. It's a huge injury that not everyone gets, but like enough people get, right? And seeing those girls go through that gruesome 9 months of recovery to come back and post pictures and be like, this is I'm back from my ACL tear, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of cool. They did that. Like, they came back from that, right? But when guys do it and they're like, come back from ACL tears and they're like elite at the sport they still play, that's so cool. Like, that's dope. Hence, that's why I think it's trendy. I'm not saying you should get it, but
here's something I'll say. Because I know two people who have not recovered to the same athletic ability, and I think one of them is listening to the show right now. We have a friend who is missing 2 of their meniscuses or something.
Oh, I'm not talking about meniscus being trendy.
Oh,
ACLs.
okay. Well, can I push back on that a little, if I
Go
may?
for it. Go for it.
I'm just going to drop one name, Jay Ajayi.
Oh, that was not trendy.
That he came back. He couldn't find a team. Finally found a team. Came back to the Eagles for 2 weeks. Played like 3 snaps, and then they got him again. So like, how do you suggest people fulfill this trend?
That's a great rebuttal. And I don't think it's necessary. I think it has to do with ages, like age groups, right? Like I think in high school getting it and you come back from it, like yeah. But I'm like, I don't know. Everyone just wants a comeback story. And if you don't have a comeback story, then if you're not like Kim Kardashian, then
Dude,
what
I
are
was
you?
about to say that. Oh my god. Dude, I said that at dinner the other night, and everyone just looked at me like I was the weirdest freaking person ever. Yeah,
He had
dude.
a great comeback story.
I said that last night at dinner. I said Kim Kardashian in a nice comeback story, and like 5 people just looked at me like, "What?" And then I had to like explain it, and then they just thought I was even weirder.
No, that's a great Parks and Rec reference.
I know. Wow, Kim Kardashian did have a great comeback story. Um, wow.
I think that probably better than the Patriots coming back from that Super Bowl.
Which Super Bowl? Oh, and then Atlanta. Yeah.
Falcons. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a nice comeback story. But, Alex Smith, I'm going to give him the comeback story of the week.
You think he wins an award for something?
Definitely.
Comeback player of the year.
I mean, I feel like the comeback player of the year has to, like, achieve something more than just coming back.
I mean, who got it last?
Honestly, I don't even know. I want to say... I don't even know. Andrew Luck won it the year before he retired. Just 2 years ago.
Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, that was well deserved. That was well deserved.
That's a well deserved. Because I was saying Tannehill was the best QB in the league for like a month straight during the playoffs.
Oh, he was
just trying to.
He was unbelievable. Let's see what the odds are for this year.
Darren Waller. Waller's going off. He's a receiver on the Las Vegas.
Yeah. I see that.
Cooper Kupp coming back from his ACL injury.
He's nice. Oh, let's look it up. Here's something written about Alex Smith as comeback player of the year right now. Salt Lake City. Let's see. I don't know. I just feel like he has to achieve something other than just coming back. I think Cam Newton's an option.
Well, I mean, do you think if the Redskins were to
they can go 9-7, which doesn't look likely.
Not likely, but if you do you think if Alex Smith can lead them to 8 games, he gets comeback player of the year?
That's likely.
Because I agree with you saying that he can't just come back and like win it, but like if you actually prove that he can still win games, I don't think he needs to make it. Yeah. I don't even think he would need to make it to the playoffs to win it.
Yeah. All right. With the closing of our show, of course, we can still hit a few more topics. We got 9 minutes, plenty of time. Where do you see a landing spot for Dwayne Haskins? I thought that the move to bench Haskins really came pretty abruptly, not only to backup, but third string. So, and now they're looking to trade him. Do you see a landing spot for him? He's just 2 years out of being drafted. The number 16 overall. He wasn't supposed to even fall that far, but that's where they ended up being taken. I mean, I don't know if anyone wants him. I
see him going to like the Colts or something.
I don't think any team right now has a super desperate quarterback need. I think Mayfield is panning out. I think they realize that they just need to run the ball a little more than they have in the past. So I think they'll end up sticking with Mayfield. The Browns will, which I had questions about him at the beginning of the season. I think the Colts are probably most likely to pick up a free agent this year. Or, now trade for Haskins. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Both LA teams have a quarterback. Russell Wilson's going to be MVP this year.
True.
So that division's out because Kyler Murray, they're not doing anything with him.
Haskins is just going to stay on the bench until someone gets injured, and he's going to have to prove that he can actually play.
Yeah, he's got Scary Terry to carry him, so that's my take on it. All right.
Terry McLaurin is good.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
Beyond the ACL trend, any hot takes of actual sports content? I know that's athletics, which still, I'll take it.
Who are some free agents in the NBA?
In the NBA?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so out of the loop right now with that.
Because if Clay is a free agent, the 76ers didn't play. I literally see the 76ers, the Clay is exactly what the 76ers need. They need a defensive shooter who can spread the floor.
Yeah. That's interesting. That for sure is interesting. All right.
And I'm saying, if you were to offload Horford or some shit, if they have to trade, if you were to offload Horford, second round pick.
Yeah, we discussed this already, but Doc Rivers is good.
Yeah, he's great for the team. I don't understand why the Clippers and the Rockets are trying to fight over who gets Ty Lue. I think that's pretty dumb.
I know.
I still don't think Ty Lue's that good of a coach.
Mm-hmm. Here's some crazy NFL free agent that I want to see return to the field. Sean Oakman.
Yeah, what's he doing?
Remember who that is? Do you remember?
Yeah, I know who Sean Oakman is. He's a scary motherfucker from Baylor that used to play. He went to Penn State first year, bro.
Myles Garrett DM'd him yo, you got to come play for Cleveland, and he said, I'll be there. So Sean Oakman, I'm pretty sure, wasn't he falsely accused of sexual assault?
He was falsely accused of rape.
Yeah, which is a terrible situation. Can't
ruined his whole NFL career.
So can't dismiss real cases, but it because that's even more devastating. Real cases of it, but to see his career ruined is also very saddening. But if he can come back and play, that would be fascinating to see because he is a scary man. I would not want to line up against him.
I would not either, bro. But he just wears crop tops the whole time.
I know. He was like the meme of DK Metcalf before DK Metcalf memes were a thing. If you remember those DK Metcalf trends.
You're right. You're right about that.
He was just
ripped as shit.
Yeah. All right. Dude. Oh, another thing I want to take away from this week is Travis Fulgham he's an animal. Travis Fulgham, 152 yards on 10 catches. Eagles' highest graded receiver since Deshaun Jackson in week 14 of 2010. Yeah, you heard that right. I see that reaction, Tim. You heard that right. Eagles' highest graded receiver in a single game since Deshaun Jackson in 2014, or in 2010 in week 14 against Dallas. So that's something crazy. This guy was on the signed to the active roster 2 weeks ago. Led the Eagles in receptions and receiving yards in 2 consecutive games after being drafted in the 6th round last year by Detroit. So he was definitely a hidden gem. I'm glad they took him.
School did you go to?
What? What are you saying?
What school did you go? What did he go to?
Fulgham? Old Dominion.
That's what it was. Yeah. I was
So,
looking at his Instagram and it was really funny.
yeah. Dude, it takes one game for Eagles fans to fall in love with someone. We saw it with Greg Ward last year, and now he's on the roster making catches every week. So definitely interesting. I think it's time to boot J-Jaw. Time to get rid of Arcega-Whiteside. Time to see him leave.
Even though, all right, can we talk about Wentz? Like, why would Wentz make that throw to Arcega-Whiteside and put the ball right there? Because Arcega-Whiteside literally didn't have an opportunity to get out of bounds, and they had 5 seconds left on the clock.
It was the only receiver open. I mean, would you rather have seen him like just throw it out of bounds? Then they would have even less time. And then the clock would have stopped, but they would have had time to throw like a Hail Mary. That would have been it.
I mean, I guess.
I don't know. Either way, I wasn't happy with that first half. I thought they cleaned it up a little in the second, but even then, couldn't pull out the comeback win. But you know, I took the Eagles plus 10.5, so I won that bet. So didn't destroy my weekend. Closing 2 minutes. Anything you want to say?
Hopefully Lane Johnson can come back because he got hurt.
I'd love to see Lane Johnson back, and really, I've been surprised by the rugby player Jordan Mailata, which is something crazy that I don't think I'd ever expect him to see him play on the field.
He's not a rugby player anymore.
What?
He's not a rugby player anymore. You see
You're
that?
right.
He said that.
Football player now. All right, 1 minute left.
Will Parks is activated on a 20-day practice window. Will Parks.
The safety from the Broncos?
Yeah, well, now the Eagles. But.
All right. Well, that's coming to a conclusion of our show. Enjoy this little rhythmic tune as we close out the show.
I'm taking Noel's, just like Noel. He asked me, what happened to the iPhone 9? Ask me. 789. What do you want to hear? 696969. Sound like he's gonna break every time. Oh, yeah. This is over 10 seconds. I can stop now. But I don't even know if I want to stop now.
All right. Thanks for listening. That's been our most recent episode of High Takes, and we'll